The 8th annual TNA Wrestling Bound for Glory pay-per-view is coming our way live this Sunday on pay-per-view from the Grand Canyon University Arena in Phoenix, Arizona. You know what time it is, folks. It's the RCWR Call That Match special as we're going to get you ready for Sunday's pay-per-view as it's match prediction time, folks. I'm going to give you my picks on who I think is going to be walking out victorious at Sunday's Bound for Glory pay-per-view. The RCWR Show Call That Match special begins right now.
Hold one, arm drag. Whoa! This is
Brett screwed Brett.
Who are you to doubt El Dandy? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Brett screwed Brett.
hold two, arm bar.
Hey, get a nice shot of the brand new Mr. and Mrs. Hunter Hurst Helmsley.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate your hat. I hate your t-shirts. I hate your wristbands. I hate your shoes. I hate your music. I hate the C-Nation. I hate everything that you stand for.
Sodas rule. Yeah, they do.
Hold three, the moss-covered, three-handle family Gradunzel.
Live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., this is the RCWR Show with your host, Lee Sanders.
And welcome everybody to the RCWR Show. I am, of course, as always, the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders. Thank you all so kindly for checking out this special episode coming at you right now on a special date of October 8th, 2012. Yes, you heard the date right, October 8th. 2012. Now, we normally do not do our Call That Match specials until Friday night going into Saturday morning to air for you all on Saturday afternoons at 2 p.m. Eastern. But with all the matches already being named, with TNA possibly hinting that a few more matches may be announced coming this Thursday night on Impact Wrestling Live, we just only thought it would be fair to just go on ahead and offer our match predictions, as there are, last we checked, as of this recording, 7 matches that have been announced, and pretty much every single TNA championship belt is accounted for, with the exception of Zema Ion, who holds that X Division title. Surely, most likely, he will be making an appearance at the pay-per-view. So we are definitely going to throw him into the mix as well. Feel free to jump on in the chat room right now that we have up on Blog Talk Radio. And before we go any further, we definitely want to take this time to thank those of you that are listening to this episode right now on blogtalkradio.com and at our sister website at infinityoneproductions.com, and also on YouTube. As YouTube subscribers, listeners, y'all get first crack at this Call That Match special. So, mad kudos to you. It's our way of giving back, in particular to our YouTube audience, as we have been picking up a good number of subscribers for this past week, definitely over the weekend. So, bad shout out to our new YouTube subscribers. If you have not subscribed to us on YouTube, make sure that you do, as from time to time we definitely do our best to put up original content. And before we dip right into it, Matt, shout out to those of you that had checked out the RCWR Show Weekend Report from this past Saturday, and also the special edition of the RCWR Post Show covering Dave Brass Body Batista's MMA debut. You quickly made those two standalone episodes be our most listened and downloaded over the weekend, and for that we humbly Thank you all. We definitely are going to continue that streak right now as we have the 8th annual TNA Bound for Glory pay-per-view that is going to be coming our way live this Sunday. If you're not that familiar with our Call That Match specials, you are in for a treat. As always, the way I go about the matches as far as predicting them, I approach them from a writing standpoint as I use my 15 plus years experience as a writer, and I also use my experience from working a mom-and-pop wrestling organization. Didn't really last too long, but I was able to learn a thing or two about booking, producing, things of that nature, trying to put a match together. So I use those past 2 experiences, I combine them to be able to predict the fallout for what you could possibly expect of each match at the pay-per-view, who you think might be able to walk away victorious. I basically offer those match predictions, and I have usually a pretty good batting average right here. So let's go on ahead and let's jump right into it. If you're not familiar with it, don't worry, you're gonna love it. It's awesome. You're gonna have a good time. So let's jump right into it. So of course, the way that I actually did the card for this particular pay-per-view, I did it in a way where basically I try to put the emphasis on the main championship belts, and any match that was not for a title, I just had those pretty much be before those title matches. So let's kick things off with Joey Ryan versus Al Snow. Now we know this has been back and forth for the past several months. This has been a case where it's been going on since, can you believe it, May. That's right, May. Joey Ryan, Al Snow, they've been going at it back and forth. Now originally at the beginning there in its early development, it was looking as if it was possibly going to be Joey Ryan taking on Taz, but TNA, Taz, they were not able to come to terms for Taz coming out of retirement and having one more match. As we all know, the years of injuries, the neck problems that he's been having, just too severe. Not to mention, Taz is not quite in the best shape of his life right now. Those 2 factors combined just had Taz come out of the equation. So Al Snow enters, and it has still been a very compelling rivalry that we have seen on television all these months. I know we had many fans that were looking at Joey Ryan, one of the first TNA gut check contestants to come onto the show, actually have 80% of the votes coming in favor for him on Twitter. Yet he was denied a TNA contract. From there, we see Joey Ryan just go on this one-man crusade of bashing TNA, bashing the TNA gut check judges, feeling as though everything that had happened to him was some type of a conspiracy and that they were neglecting their truest consumers, which is the TNA wrestling fans. And we would see Al Snow try to step in, try to take control of everything that was happening with the words Joey Ryan was saying. Joey Ryan being very adamant, being very passionate. He would continue to vent his frustrations, not just on TNA, as he would make chaotic, spontaneous appearances here and there over the course of several weeks, few weeks gaps in between. We'd see him go on Twitter, we'd see him go on YouTube with his now famous Joey Ryan Has a Camera and YouTube account series, bashing Hulk Hogan, bashing TNA, bashing the judges. And just week after week, it seemed, this angle just continued to be played. Finally, after all these months has gone by, we now see that we have this match with Joey Ryan, Al Snow, after Al Snow a couple of weeks back had put his hands on Joey Ryan And Bruce Pritchard, one of the head honchos in TNA, was not very pleased with this. As far as he was concerned, Joey Ryan did not have a TNA contract, and since he was not under a TNA contract, he was basically looked upon as a civilian, one whom Al Snow had no right to put his hands on, and they were trying to do everything they could to possibly avoid a lawsuit. How would this be rectified, folks? Well, we have Mr. Joey Ryan, who has been sitting up saying he feels he deserves a contract. He should not have to do another gut check match again. He should just be offered a contract. This past Thursday night on Impact Wrestling, we would see Joey Ryan get presented with a contract. However, it was not a permanent TNA contract. On the contrary, this contract would be for him to wrestle on the biggest stage of them all, which is at Bound for Glory, one night only, and the person he'll have to be facing is Al Snow. So there are the ingredients. There's that backstory that you all need to feel truly invested into this match. I, on the one hand, feel that TNA has done a decent job continuing this story angle, as there definitely has been great intrigue into this. Now that we know this match is set, if you're a Joey Ryan fan, you're looking at this, you're saying to yourself, surely Joey Ryan is going to get the win over Al Snow, right? He just has to. Others will look at this as a way of possibly the whole Joey Ryan-Al Snow rivalry coming to an end, as we have some people, they just felt that Joey Ryan has always been in some type of a contract, and therefore they really could not feel invested into this match. A little bit understandable, but a little bit of overanalyzing it, I feel. This is going to be, without a doubt, a great match. We know that if Al Snow is in the ring with the right person, he can have a very great match. And if you have not been checking up on Joey Ryan's style of wrestling, you're missing out. Highly recommend you go check out his matches on YouTube. You definitely will be able to come across a lot of his stuff, whether it is for the Guerrero Pro Wrestling that he runs and wrestles for, or WWE, TNA, or any of the other number of independent wrestling promotions that he has done work for. You will be able to see a great ton of his matches on there. He is without a doubt a very solid wrestler. This match, when it's all said and done, it boils down to what makes more sense. And right now, it just would not make any sense for Al Snow to pick up the win over Joey Ryan. As much as I love Al Snow, he is without a doubt one of the wrestling veterans. I feel one of the most underrated guys, you know, to ever lace up a pair of boots, because some of the work that he's done over the years has just been some pretty phenomenal stuff. He's always been able to connect with the crowd. He's always been able to maintain that fan base wherever he has gone, whether it's ECW, WWE, TNA, independent wrestling circuit. He's always been able to keep that consistency, that connection with the fan base. But on this night, however, at Bound for Glory, Al Snow getting the win over Joey Ryan, it would just do nothing for Al Snow. The bigger payoff would be for Joey Ryan to pick up the victory over Al Snow so that he can continue to make those spontaneous appearances over the next few weeks of TNA wrestling and just basking in the glory that he had got a win over Al Snow. And that could possibly set up Joey Ryan for a next match with maybe somebody entirely different that will want to try to shut him up and put him in his place. So first strike right here, first encounter, first strike, I've got to go with Joey Ryan over Al Snow. As if they give the victory over to Al Snow, I just feel it will suck just a ton of momentum from Joey Ryan, and that's not something that he needs right now. Let's go on with our next match that we have. And how convenient is this that around the same time that we had the Joey Ryan angle going on with the TNA gut check, we also had Aces and Eights. Yes, Aces and Eights. It's been in the air now since May, just about the same time as Joey Ryan had popped up. We've seen the story. There's really no reason to go into too much great detail about this. We know what Aces and Eights are all about, or as I like to call them, those damn Aces and Eights, that biker band of guys that remind me of FX's hit series Sons of Anarchy. I'm going to keep saying that till the day I die probably, but that's exactly what they remind me of whenever I watch these guys. They've been causing all types of mischief, and here we have this match here where two members of Aces and Eights are going to be taking on the team of Sting and Bully Ray. As we all saw on last Thursday's Impact Wrestling, Bully Ray originally was not the man to get the job of teaming up with the Icon. No, it was originally Mr. Anderson, but as we had saw in those last few precious seconds of Impact Wrestling, Mr. Anderson was unfortunately taken out of the equation by those damn Aces and Eights who attacked him backstage. This left and presented an opportunity to Bully Ray, Mr. Do You Know Who I Am? And so, Bully Ray pleading his case to the Stinger and to Hulk Hogan to give him the opportunity to put Aces and Eights in their place, give him the opportunity to team up with Sting to face the Aces and Eights. We would see Sting, we would see Hulk Hogan shake his hand, give him that seal of approval. That's it, it's set. Sting, Bully Ray taking on Aces and Eights, where the stipulation goes as followed. If Aces and Eights win this match, they will get full access to Impact Wrestling Arena. However, if they lose, then that will be the last time that we will see Aces and Eights. So the stakes could not be set any higher. Now, when I am looking at this match, it just speaks large volumes to me of shenanigans, folks. That's right. I am looking at shenanigans in this contest. It is not going to be clear cut. I honestly feel that it's very possible that Bully Ray may turn on Sting. This is how I'm approaching it from a writing standpoint. I'm trying to figure out from a writing standpoint what much more can I do with Bully Ray to continue to have him be very relevant and fresh. Because right now, seeing him get bounced between Jeff Hardy, Austin Aries, basically be in that main title picture, that's not really doing him any good right now. He needs that next big thing that can continue to generate some type of buzz for him, get him new heat. What better way to do that than to have Bully Ray turn on Sting? Should this be the night that we find out who is behind the Aces and Eights? Who are those gang biker members getting their orders from? Bound for Glory would be the perfect place to do it, folks, because if they do not do it at Bound for Glory, I personally feel that they are testing the waters, that they are testing the fans' patience. Many fans, they have felt that this storyline should have been wrapped up 2, maybe even 3 months ago. So, if there was ever a time to do a proper big payoff, this Sunday's pay-per-view would be the moment. If it were me setting this up, I would have Sting lose to the Aces and Eights at the hands of Bully Ray turning on him. Bully Ray could be revealed to be the one, to be the mastermind behind Aces and Eights, or it could be revealed that Bully Ray is part of the Aces and Eights. This is how I would set it up, folks. Let's move on with the next match on the card, as we have the street fight between Robert Roode and the Cowboy, James Storm, with Bellator MMA fighter King Mo Lao, or as I like to call him, King Mojo Jojo. This rivalry that we have seen between Roode and Storm, it all goes back to November of last year, as we had saw Robert Roode taking on James Storm for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and we had saw Bobby Roode turn heel. We saw him show his true colors, as who could not forget that infamous few seconds there where he just grabbed James Storm's beer bottle at the side of the apron and cracked him over the head to become the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Bad blood had been brewing between those two guys since, but as Bobby Roode will point out, it's actually gone a little bit more deeper than that, as it goes as far back to their days being in Beer Money, as they were in Beer Money for a good couple of years there before branching off into singles competition. So we have that backstory, those needed ingredients to really make this match truly make one feel invested. Special Enforcer King Mo Lao, though I feel they have done a poor job really utilizing him and just throwing him into this without really creating enough buzz to go into his favor. There's no telling how he could play a factor into this. If it was me, if I was the one to be booking this right now, I would love to have King Mo Lao turn on James Storm to generate some type of buzz for him, and maybe that could eventually set up some type of a program between the two, because I am just getting the impression right now that one of the things that needs to happen here is maybe we should see King Mo Lao, Robert Roode, form some type of a alliance, so to speak. It could kind of be somewhat similar to what a company up north did with Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, and Mike Tyson. Maybe they could do some type of a similar angle, but give it a nice little twist to it. But regardless, James Storm, Robert Roode, King Mo Lao as the enforcer. You're looking at this, you're saying to yourself, who could get this? And quite honestly, this could go either way. I'm looking at it from this standpoint, though. Robert Roode, he's been on a little bit of a funk ever since he lost that World Heavyweight Championship. He needs a little something up his belt right now. I feel that he could use a W on his side. So I'm going to say Robert Roode is going to defeat James Storm. Possibly look for that King Mo Lao helping Robert Roode. Look for helping out Robert Roode to get that win over James Storm. Don't be too surprised if you see Mo Lao help Roode, as I honestly feel, and this is just the way I would do it, it would definitely give him more buzz going into the TNA Impact Live episodes going forward. Exactly what he needs. Now, we have the TNA Tag Team titles, the TNA Knockouts title, the Television Championship. We also have the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. That's all going to be on the line. Now, notice here that there is one belt that is missing, and that is the TNA X Division title. I strongly believe, and keep in mind, folks, this is on October 8th, 2012. I strongly feel that Zema Ion will be making an appearance at the Bound for Glory pay-per-view to defend that X Division title. If they were to leave him off of the event, that would just be mind-boggling to me. I know that I'm dealing with these matches right here and now as of this recording, but I just want to pencil in Zema Ion because that's how confident I feel that he will be making an appearance at the pay-per-view. Who, I am not sure, but I'm going to say that Zema Ion will retain. He's just keeping that belt ready, getting it nice and hot. He's keeping it on hold for Jesse Sutton when he makes his return next year. I've been saying it month after month. I'm going to continue to say it until we see Jesse Sutton return, because by default, that belt will be his. So Zema Ion for the retain. Let's go now to our next TNA Championship match, which sees the TNA Tag Team titles on the line as AJ Styles, Kurt Angle will be taking on the team of Hernandez and Chavo Guerrero and Daniels and Kazarian, the tag team champions, as it is going to be a triple threat match for those tag titles. We know how Kazarian and Daniels have been sitting up within recent weeks. They've been trying to play a little bit of mind games with the two respected tag teams, trying to get them to turn on one another, trying to look for some type of a way to wiggle out with those tag titles. We know how AJ Styles, Kurt Angle are. We know that those two guys, they could put on a really great wrestling match. We know they have been tag champions before. So with regards to possibly seeing them get the tag belts, I just don't see it happening. Let's go over to the newly formed team of Chavo and Hernandez. I like how these two guys have been gelling within recent weeks. However, I just am not really picturing them as tag champions right now. Now, I am getting this weird vibe, and I guess you could call it a Spidey sense vibe, that it's possible that Chavo, Guerrero, and Hernandez could be crowned the new TNA tag champions. Don't be too surprised if you see that happen. But if it was me, if I was booking this, the way I would have this, it just makes sense to me. I'd have Daniels and Kazarian somehow figure out a way to wiggle out of this match with the title still intact. I'm picking them for the win. They just have so much going for them right now. They've got that great charisma. They've just been on a great roll within recent weeks. I love it every single time these guys pop up on Backstage Pass, and if you haven't checked that out, make sure that you do. You can check it out in between commercial breaks on Impact Wrestling. If you have your laptop, perfect setup. You're looking at Impact Wrestling or your TV, you got your laptop open, you already have it on Backstage Pass. Soon as Impact Wrestling takes a commercial break on your television, you can just look right at your computer and you will not miss a single thing, as Backstage Pass, along with Jeremy Borash, they always hook you up in between the commercial breaks. Really great stuff. But Kazarian and Daniels, they're always helping out with that. They are just all over the place. They're working on the nerves of Sting. They've worked the nerves of Hulk Hogan. I just want to see these guys continue to be those antagonists, be that thorn in the sides of the Stinger and the Hulkster. Kazarian, Daniels, I got to go with them for the victory right here. Let's go on with our next match, which sees Magnus taking on the TNA Television Champion Samoa Joe, as the belt will be on the line. Samoa Joe, he became the new television champion just 2 weeks ago, and he has been on one impressive roll. He has somehow dug deep within, and he has pulled back that old Samoa Joe that us TNA fans have come to like, that we grew up watching 5-6 years ago. He's kind of finding his old roots back right here, almost bringing back that Joe is gonna kill you type of mentality. This match right here, I feel it will be very physical. It's not really going to be one of those type of straight up wrestling matches. It's going to be just a physical, brutal. It's going to be a brawl right here. It's going to be ugly. Without a doubt, two big guys like this is going to be ugly. Not to mention, these two guys used to be former tag champions. Oh, man. So you know this is really going to be on point. Not to mention, Samoa Joe has to get a little bit of payback on Magnus. As let's not forget, it was a couple of weeks back during that Bound for Glory series there where Samoa Joe, he had lost, remember folks? And we had saw Magnus come out and he was talking a hot game, but then came from behind Samoa Joe and attacked him. And really, we didn't see too much anything else after that. So Samoa Joe, he needs a little bit of retribution. He needs that payback. Sunday, he's going to get that. I got Samoa Joe over Magnus for the retain. Next up, we have the TNA Knockouts Championship on the line as the lovely Tara will be taking on the lovely Miss Tessmacher. It is the student versus the teacher. We know that these two girls, they have a long history together. As for a long period of time, they have formed a tag team, and they were just really gelling very well with each other. But it seemed like ever since we had saw Tessmacher become the new Knockouts champion, Tara has just been little by little showing her true colors till it got to the point right now where she is feeling as though Tessmacher, as well as the TNA fans, is what I'm trying to say, are in favor of Tessmacher, and Tara just feels as though she's been used all this time. So I love the fact, in a nutshell, that Tara has gone heel. I can kind of get an idea of what they were trying to do with the storyline there. But the important thing that we really need to focus on right now is that Tara is a heel. She poses a serious threat to Tessmacher, as yes, Tara has taught Tessmacher almost everything that she knows, but you know Tara is going to be holding back a little bit here. So you're looking at this match and you're saying to yourself, how could this possibly go? Now, we've seen within recent weeks tag matches, another type of match, Tara, she got a victory over Tessmacher. So as of this recording, you kind of got to take those equations right there, and you kind of got to say to yourself, is it possible that Tara might have Tessmacher's number? On the contrary, I got Tessmacher being able to defeat Tara, and I got her being able to retain that Knockouts championship. But don't be too surprised if Tara and Tessmacher continue their feud, as I really think this is something that still has not quite scratched the surface. I can see them doing this for one more pay-per-view. This match right here, I'm really hoping that it gets the right type of spotlight. I really hope it gets that right type of treatment, and it's not going to be a 5-minute type of match. I'm really hoping we could see at least almost 15 minutes from these two girls. Tessmacher, she's gotten better in the ring within recent months. Tara, we know that she always brings it. Should be a very great match. And we say the best for last. The TNA World Heavyweight Championship is on the line as Austin Aries will be taking on Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy, the Bound for Glory series winner. He went through a lot. You look at the story that is currently being dubbed right now for Jeff Hardy, who has been through it all. He has been through his trials, his tribulations. Who could forget that infamous night at Victory Road 2010 where he had that horrific match with the icon Sting. A lot of props to Sting for being able to carry Hardy through that match. We've seen so many legal problems that has happened with Jeff Hardy, and at one point it looked like he was done with TNA for a little bit, but he came on back. He was able to close those demons, and he has just been on the path of righteous, so to speak, ever since. We go over to the other side. We have the TNA World Heavyweight Champion Austin Aries, who became the man when he defeated Robert Roode, who at that point was one of the longest reigning TNA World Heavyweight Champions. And really, Austin Aries, afterwards, it just kind of came off as if TNA, maybe not quite so sure what to do with him, as many TNA fans will point out how it didn't matter if Robert Roode was at a pay-per-view or not. Every single time you turned on Impact Wrestling, that man was always wrestling. He was always doing something. Not quite the case from Austin Aries, as let's not forget, we had that whole month there where we did not see Austin Aries wrestle. I know, very weird, right? Very different dynamics right here when you think about the last two people that have held this TNA championship. When you look at the run of Robert Roode and then you look at the run of Austin Aries. Austin Aries, phenomenal wrestler. You gotta love that brain buster that he does, followed up by that Horns of Aries. Great deadly combination right here. This match is going to be very on point. Let us settle the big question right now, though, as I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, who could possibly win this match? I'm looking at both sides here. As much as I love Austin Aries, I do not see him retaining. And let me tell you the reason why I do not see Austin Aries retaining the championship. You know, the one question that's happening in my mind right now is, where does Austin Aries go from here? Where does he go if he were to defeat Jeff Hardy? Does he work another match with Jeff Hardy? Or does he move on to somebody else? And if he does move on to somebody else, who exactly is next? Who would that new opponent be? And unfortunately, I don't quite see that right now. I know that's very hard to picture, folks, but I'm sure you all could probably have that same argument too. Now, maybe possibly we could see maybe some type of tournament where Mr. Anderson, Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, Chavo, Hernandez, maybe we could see some type of a deal with those guys. Throw RVD in there where some type of a new #1 contender would be named to take on Austin Aries at the next pay-per-view. I could kind of see that happening, but you don't really have too much of anything happening right here. It's really hard to picture. And then the other thing that I'm thinking about right now is all the latest developments that has been happening with Jeff Hardy, as TNA, they are trying to get him to resign. They've been getting the ball moving early right now because his contract is going to be up, I believe, February, March of next year in 2013, and they're trying to do everything they can to have him remain with the company, as they realize that he has that hardcore following, and they've been able to get decent merchandise sales off of him alone. So you're thinking about all that, folks, and you just got to say to yourself, which way could it go right here? Unfortunately, as much as I love Austin Aries, and I have been a fan of his since his Ring of Honor days, I've been a fan of his since day one that he came into TNA Wrestling. It pains me to say this, but I see Jeff Hardy becoming the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Just think of that story that TNA has been trying to sell us the past couple of weeks, talking about how he's overcome so many obstacles in his life. The big payoff will be when he comes full circle at Bound for Glory this Sunday to become the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And that is how I am picturing the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. Let's take it back up to the top for you guys, and let's recap everyone who I feel will be walking out of Sunday's pay-per-view victorious. For Joey Ryan versus Al Snow, I have Joey Ryan picking up the victory. In the Aces and Eights, taking on Sting and Bully Ray, I have Aces and Eights winning. Look for Bully Ray to turn on Sting. In the street fight match between James Storm versus Bobby Roode, I have Roode needing a victory over Storm, so he has some type of momentum going forward. Zema Ion, I'm penciling him to make an appearance. Who he's going to be taking on, not quite sure. It doesn't matter. He's going to defeat them. And again, if TNA does not put him into this pay-per-view, it's going to be a huge fumble on their part. For the TNA Tag Team Championships, I have Daniels and Kazarian with a true upset, as they'll be able to walk away victorious in this triple threat match. For the Television Championship, I'm going with Samoa Joe over Magnus. For the TNA Knockouts title, I'm going with Tessmacher over Terra. And for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship match between Austin Aries and Jeff Hardy, I'm going with Jeff Hardy to become the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. What are your match predictions, folks? We definitely would love to hear from you. You know what to do. Hit us up with a tweet at Infinity1Prod with your match predictions. You can also hit us up on Facebook at Infinity1Productions.com. If you're checking this out on YouTube, we love to hear from you as well. Feel free to submit your comments to us. Let us know your match predictions. You can send that to us in a comment text, or you can send it to us in a video. And guess what? If you are on point, if you call every single match right for your predictions, we will give you a shout out live on the air. We will give you your props, as we'll be covering the Bound for Glory pay-per-view this Sunday at 11 p.m. Eastern, immediately following the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. You can check out the RCWR post show right here on blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR Show, and over at our sister website at Infinity1Productions.com, where we will give you honest analysis, play-by-play of all the matches in case you might not be able to miss it. We'll cover the whole fallout from it. We'll also get fan reactions. It's going to be a very good show, a very interactive show at that. Well, that's it for now until the RCWR post show. But you know, the conversations of wrestling, it doesn't stop here. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Infinity1Prod, Facebook at Infinity1 Productions, and check out our website at Infinity1Productions.com for all the latest in wrestling related news and so much more. Until we hear from you guys this Sunday for the RCWR post show at 11 p.m. Eastern this Sunday, I'm the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders, and until we hear from you all this Sunday, you all be safe and you all be kind to one another, folks. We'll see you this Sunday night, right after the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. Everybody, take care.